He's now raised to 14. We're just going to see the first session, so we will see 13 frames. There's 50 minutes on the match clock. It's going to be Shaun Storry to get us underway. Nice break by Shaun, but cue ball finding its way to a cluster of yellows. Looking at the layout, yellows will be the colour of choice, I'm sure, for Shaun. As he rifles that first pot in. First time we've seen Shaun this weekend on the stream. He's been out there battling away, had a farewell battle in his last match again against Mr. 𝗡𝗶𝗃𝗵 out there. He was 12-6 up, and it did take him a while to get over the line. 𝗪𝗏𝗡𝗵𝗵 did stage a fair old fight back, but it was Autopilot that eventually overcame his opponent. Didn't want that little nudge. I think he's made it a little bit more awkward now. Still okay. Tony Holgate and Stephen Jameson with you for this match.
Yeah, one that I'm really looking forward to, actually. I'm very intrigued to see just how Shaun Storry starts. The way that he qualified for this match. You mentioned it earlier on, Tony, in your heyday, the format of tournaments was a little bit different. You didn't really get these sort of opportunities for big comebacks and all the rest of it. But I wondered if you'd ever had an experience where you won a match, but it almost feels like you've lost it. Because Shaun Storry was 12-6 up, absolutely cruising against challenger player 𝗪𝗏𝗡𝗵, and then has been put through torture in 𝗪𝗏𝗡, getting all the way back to 12-all, and Shaun eventually sort of stumbling over the line with the decider to win 13-12. And I just wonder, I've not asked him this, so maybe he feels fantastic about it, but from the outside looking in, you think, oh, he must just be... He probably feels a bit sick that it got that close.
I think it'll be more relief.
Yeah.
Of getting over the line. I think the one that'll be sick will be 𝗪𝗏𝗡𝗵 to get all the way back to 12-all and then not complete the fairy tale comeback and win a match from that far behind, which would have always been incredible. And let's just say if Shaun Storry had have lost that match, I mean, he'd have probably still been on his knees out in the arena.
But do you think it will have rattled him a little bit?
I genuinely think, and knowing Shaun a bit as well, that I think the relief will be that he got through and it will be a reset for him. Come out a different face in the opposite corner. Made a nice little start there. I think when you're playing those sort of matches and you're on the hill and you've got a good lead, you think, just get it done now, and then you have a dry break and somebody clears up. Then they break clear and think, okay, this one then. And then it gets worse and worse and worse, and then panic sets in towards the end. And here's a man that never panics, Jon McAllister. big booming break. But unfortunately for Jon, nothing to show for it. So plenty of table time for Shaun Storry in these early exchanges. I think when you get to these, the quarterfinals, and they're obviously long matches, and you know, you're playing top quality opponents. I think the mindset when you go out to play this first session is to finish it still being well in contention of the match. That's the #1 goal. I don't think anybody that's in this course would go out and think, right, I want to get myself a 5 or 6 frame cushion. It's just about being right there, ready tomorrow on the completion.
Yeah, you've just got to hang in. Just be in the conversation. Don't allow yourself to get pumped tonight. Just know that you gotta go again tomorrow morning. Find the result. I think any player, as long as they're within 3, will fancy getting the job done tomorrow. 4 becomes okay. Got to make a little bit of a comeback. 5 or 6, and it's all bang up against it.
You know, I actually watched the Ian Ali Phil Harrison match from actually in the arena there. It's quite cool out there, to be honest. And I watched the demeanour of Phil Harrison as he left the arena, and he looked a little bit down, sort of trudged out.
I don't think he will be by the time that rolls around tomorrow. I think he will have recovered. I don't think he'll be too precious about it. I understand why he's disappointed right now, because how that match went in the first half. He probably felt that he had Ian Ali at one point exactly where he wanted him. Only for Ian to somehow fashion a really good performance from the jaws of a terrible mistake. Now, I know you weren't with us on the last match, Tony. Did you happen to catch Ian's mistake ball?
I did indeed. The one into the bottom right. Yeah, incredible. Because he was smiling as he played his last shot, because he didn't play it very well, and he thought he'd snookered himself, and he sort of had a grin like, "Wow, I've got on it," and then missed the plant, which was quite bizarre. As Shaun Storry mops up frame #2.
Yeah, quick start from Shaun Storry. And, you know, I asked the question, you know, a moment ago about how do you think he'd be feeling after the near miss in the last round. But I think knowing what we do of Shaun, he is such a gamer. He really does just love the fight. He loves the battle. He's prepared to dig a trench around him, let his opponent dig theirs, and just slug it out. He's left standing come the end. Often it's that man right there. Shaun back on the break. Narrow-ish cut break.
That's an absolute leathering of a break there from Shaun Storry.
Yeah, golden break. As we all know by now, none of that silly nonsense in the Ultimate Pool Masters.
Yeah, counter Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing it properly. Yeah, long races, no nonsense. So I'll finish this. A little bit of work on yellows. It will be yellows.
Yeah, Shaun just lining up this yellow into the top left-hand corner, thinking you've got those two yellows parked behind the red, and he's just looking now where he wants to sort of nudge yellow and red apart. I think ideally he'd like to just push the red out of the way and push the yellow towards that rail. Make both available. Doesn't want it to come back again, and it has. So that is no good to Shaun. Shaun there trying to get both balls, yellow and red, made the red, but also screwed the cue ball back into the middle bag as well, so he's now handed the table to Jon McAllister, and he will get his first real feel of this evening's arena.
Station call.
His main problem ball, well, that's been solved by having ball in hand. You can just put it anywhere on the table. As you can see, Jon giving himself a nice straight red into the middle. Get that out of the way.
First real chance we've got to see Jon at the table. He's looked very, very good. Sort of in short bursts in this tournament. And on 13-6, first day against 𝗪𝗫 Jeffers, we saw that. Didn't start well, but finished strong. 13-9 over Joe Prince, 13-9 over Ryan Pisani. 13-0 officially, victory over Tommy Donlan, where he was 7-0 in front before Tommy retired. So he's building into it, and I mean, tournaments like these are built for players like Jon McAllister, who by his own admission can start slow, but will back himself against just about anybody in the world over a long race in this arena. He goes 2-1. Would you like to know our completed quarter-final lineup, Tony Holgate?
I'd absolutely love to, Chamber.
So, two results we were waiting for, the first of which was Aaron Davies against Josh Juhas. It's Aaron who has got over the line. 13-11 after Josh with a good comeback into the second half of that match. But it's Aaron who rallied to tie the set 6-6. And won through 13 frames to 11, and Craig Waddingham is through to the quarterfinals of this event once again. 13-8 victor over Kyle Cope. There's Tom Cousins, if you weren't with us earlier, eliminated by Ian Alley in a brilliant performance from Ian. 13-10 over Top Cat, who has since gone home, got changed, and is here to cheer on his good mate Shaun Storry. Ian Alley already up in his quarterfinal. He's 8-5 in front of Phil Harrison at the interval.
So Craig Waddingham will be taking on Chris Melling.
Mouth-watering, I would posit.
Is that the last match this evening?
Well, it's scheduled to be the third, but I wonder if they make it the fourth with sort of Craig's section of the draw forced to play through a little bit. I'm not too sure. We'll get that found out for you, but there's 2 matches to come, we know. It'll be Craig Waddingham against Chris Melling, Aaron Davies versus Christophe Lambert. Not missing anything, by the way. It's just taking a while for our referee team just to get things set and ready.
Jon McAllister weight. 22 frames to 1.
Just had it confirmed, by the way, that we will indeed be playing to the order of the schedule. Now it's set back up. Craig Waddingham versus Chris Melling will follow us here. Christophe Lambert and Aaron Davies to close out the night as Jon McAllister breaks. He broke them all open and they came back together. Look at this for a sticky situation.
Yeah, unpleasant looking rack.
What a leave this is for Jon McAllister to come back to in this rather miserable looking frame. Touching ball there meant he could play away. He's going to be first to have a poke at this grim looking rack. Don't think. Another 36 minutes of this. This frame, and we'll be nicely poised at 2-1 tomorrow morning. Okay. I think Shaun Storry has spotted a way to move. He has. And it looks like this yellow to bottom left into the yellow directly above it. And it should, if all goes well, just sort of gently coerce everything into the open.
I'd splat them. Give me a bit of stick here.
No, it doesn't work.
Well, he's had a refusal.
Yeah. He's turned it down. Interesting that Jon's spotting a ball. Does he feel like he can now go? That's not planned?
I don't think it is. I just had a little look at that. I think that red's too close to the yellow, the first one. I think it pushes off. But if Jon can get into them, that's what I meant earlier by a good old splat into the balls, and just look how the reds have come out for Jon McAllister.
Well, fortune favours the brave.
And Shaun Storry settles into his chair now.
Jon McAllister has blasted this rack wide open.
You feel this is going to be shortly a level match at 2-all. In goes the last red. Perfect position for Jon McAllister. And this black ball will follow. 2-all here at the Players' Lounge. No emotion from Jon, which you expect.
Yeah, not someone to ever give anything away is Jon McAllister.
Don't play him at poker. Don't play him at pool.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jon Storry breaks and sends the cue ball into Cheshire. Another look, there off it goes. We've got Ways, will be now saying there's a cue ball coming up the M6. And of course, if you break and send a cue ball off the table, normally if you foul off the break, it's just you've got to be in the kitchen area, which is behind the bolt line at the top of the table. But because it came off the table, Jon McAllister can put this cue ball anywhere in his opening shot. As you see, he's right down next to all these yellows. After that great start from Shaun Storry, which has just took a bit of a dramatic turn since. Tad short there, Jon. I think he might have wanted to get the cue a little bit further to the right so he could play the yellow ball to the left of the black into that left-hand middle bag. So he might have to go upstairs into the top corner. Which he duly obliges. Such a smooth cueist, Jon McAllister. Keeble off a couple of rails here. Down. I'd like that to be a bit straighter. Could have just pulled the cue ball back a couple of inches then and just dropped in the yellow into the bottom left, but still okay. Drags that yellow in and uses the black ball as a buffer. Lovely control from McAllister. 8 ball now into the middle bag. This will be 3 in a row. In it goes, and McAllister is starting to fire up. Going through the gears.
Yeah, and he does that so well, so smoothly.
And that's the thing I said earlier this weekend about when we were talking about cut breaks and power cut breaks, and I always said, you know, I had an attempt at trying to play that a few years ago, but because I like to hit the pack hard, I'd have the cue ball off the table all the time, and that's one of those occasions there. If you do not cue playing that cut break and you're going to play it with a lot of pace, dead straight, you know, you don't have the cue elevated at all. If you do get any elevation, that cue ball's off. Hence, I gave up with that idea of being a cut break player. Shaun would be annoyed there because, you know, you're giving your opponent ball in hand anywhere on the table right at the start of the frame. Especially somebody as good as Jon McAllister, pretty much spells the end of it. It is now Jon McAllister break off frame 6.
Yeah, and when his break starts going, that's when you've really got to watch out for Jon. When that starts happening, it's a warning sign. It's like the fires are being lit on the cliffs of Dover. The attack is coming. And it's what it doesn't really get talked about a huge amount. The Jon McAllister break is a very good weapon for him, but it's not. You know, if you sort of do a straw poll of, you know, the other players, which we've done quite a few of. I think I've seen quite a few of them posted on socials. You know, they're perfect player. Jon McAllister's break never seems to be in that sort of conversation. It's not quite at that level, or so it might seem. But when he's on, it's so metronomic in terms of its control. There's good power there, and it gives him so much skin in the game, especially over a long race like this, where your break is so reliable. It gives you a huge advantage. One thing a longer race can do is sort of even out the randomness of the break, but I think what it also do is it rewards the really good breakers. If you can break really consistently and your cue ball's controlled, you know, we always say the rule of thumb is if you control what you can control well, you'll get rewarded more often than not. Longer match, in theory, should bring that to fruition. It's all about this red in the middle of the table for Jon. He wants to get rid of it as soon as possible.
I don't know if it might. Does it slide? Does it slide off the 8 and into the middle?
Oh, I think this goes. I think it goes clean. It's tight, but I think it goes clean. He couldn't be better on it, really.
If it does, it's going to have to sort of just rub off the knuckle. Oh, we're fluid.
Yeah. Just the way he was very unconcerned about that whole section of the visit. I think it was more on body language than it was sort of looking at angles or anything else. Ended up a little bit straight on that one, but able to power it round, and it's another very, very good-looking Jon Mac finish coming up.
Yeah, he's got a tiny bit of angle on this red here. He can just punch this off the top rail.
Just needs to pick where he wants.
Well, he's got two choices. He can punch it off the rail, or he can play it with top and left-hand side and come off the two cushions into the middle of the table.
Like that, he's as awkward as he could be. Unless he can slide his cue past that yellow, which I think
he's coming over the top.
Yeah. So slightly awkward queuing. Tester. Oh.
Bang in the middle of the bag. Dispatched with ease and aplomb.
Yeah, we're seeing some good stuff, aren't we? We're seeing some real good stuff. Best players in the world doing their thing. That's what these quarterfinals should be. You've had to play a lot of pool, you had to win a lot of frames to get this far. That's what we saw in last year's Masters. Certainly what we've seen so far in these quarterfinals.
4 in a row now for Jon McAllister.
Certainly is. And he's looking pretty comfy. Shaun Storry to break off. Wonder if he's going to stick with the cut break. Just needs to take it down by a couple of percentage points.
He took
Definitely did, yeah. More than a couple.
Not only that, he's going to pay the price now. He's just opened everything up and gone dry. And that's the other side of the coin. So
yeah, he's hit the break quite well, and I mean, look at the split. Everything's pretty wide open, but I don't think really any ball troubled a pocket there, weirdly.
just the way the balls are spread, reds look very nice. Nice shot there from McAllister. Got the cue ball back to the bottom cushion, left himself a nice angle just to roll the cue ball up the table, anywhere in the middle of the table now, and you feel that this could be 5 frames in a row for Jon. Don't forget, coming up next, Craig Waddingham, the silver sniper, taking on the magician, Chris Melling, in a mouth-watering tie. Finishing off our quarter-final lineup tonight will be Aaron Davis, Cyborg, and he will be playing Christophe Lambert. And this has been really smart cueing here from Jon McAllister as he puts another one on his side of the scoreboard. Now leads 5-2 against Shaun Storry, and it is one-way traffic at this moment here in Newcastle-under-Lyme. Shaun Storry, much to ponder. Went off to a flyer, 2-0 in front. Since then, it's been the Jon McAllister show as Jon breaks off frame 8. Shaun is finally going to get out of his chair, get to come and address the table and have a good look and try and get back into this match. Just a little look at the table. I prefer yellows, and so does Shaun, purely because of that red at the bottom of the table. It's hidden behind a couple of yellows down there. So Shaun does take the yellows. I know it's early in the match, JMO, but you feel that Shaun cannot afford to slip further behind because McAllister is just so hard to catch.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. He's a dangerous fish, is Jon McAllister. Cannot let him stretch into anything too extravagant, because you always feel like you're never going to get much off him. It's not like he's unbeatable. I think every player's beatable, but you get the sense if he gets into a big lead, he's one of them players who just doesn't give you enough chances for you to work your way into it. It would be a real surprise turnaround, and you'd have to rely a lot on just luck off the break, essentially.
Yeah, nice little nudge there. Shaun Storry still going here. Got to be very precise now in this next shot. It's coming back out. That's a bit heavy, I think. Wants to be able to play that yellow into that bottom right-hand corner. Get the cue ball up past the red. Well, he's showing you where he wants to be. I think he can actually play it off the red. There you see, just flicked off it. That's nice. And Shaun Storry now, very important for him. He's going to get this frame, bring it back to 5-3. Stop the rot. And nicely done by Shaun Storry.
Yeah, needed that. Just stops the slide a little bit.
I mean, nobody wants to be a long way behind anybody, but, you know, it's always hard to come back. But you feel with a player like Jon McAllister, his break is rarely dry.
Yeah,
it's a big booming break, and he doesn't go in off it very often either.
He doesn't tend to make bad errors. Do you know what I mean?
Well, he made a load of them when he played 𝗎𝗏𝗔 on the opening day. I think he made...
At this stage of the tournament, I mean.
Never.
Yeah.
Once he's deep into the tournament, you know, he's right up there in the conversation. You know, he's won tours.
Yeah, it's very rare you get someone run a 5-6 pack on Jon McAllister.
Well, he made as many mistakes in that first session against 𝗎𝗏𝗔 yesterday than I think I've seen him make all season. I mean, he said himself in his interview.
He was sort of expecting it.
Yeah, but he said I'm a slow starter.
Yeah. It felt like he was sort of expecting it. Probably not as bad in the first session.
No.
He warmed up with the match, but yeah.
Well, he's changed his break there.
Oh, how do you like that?
Yeah, well, he's abandoned the cut break because obviously went off the table with a slam cut break, took too much off the last cut break and then just left the balls open for Jon McAllister. So he's changed over, gone head ball, and what's happened? Wouldn't you know it? In off.
That's a brutal in off as well. He's hit that break lovely. Yeah, pretty, not exactly right in the middle of the top cushion, but close enough to feel like you've hit a great break. And to get it flinged
It's
into the top
times
corner.
like that you think the game hates you.
Yeah.
What have I done to the game for it to desert me?
And you'd be forgiven for thinking that. You really would. It's a cruel world. The ultimate pool world.
And that is the trouble. You play on this ultimate pool tour and in the pros, every mistake is duly punished because of the quality of the players that are out there. These are the elite, the best of the best. Just going to pop this in now. McAllister come back to where he probably was just then anyway. Now he gets rid of this one down into the bottom left. Cue ball up into a nice central position. Just below the middle would be nice. So even where he is now, and then just roll that one into the right-hand centre. Red in the other centre, black in the corner. In fact, he could switch. He could just pop this in now and screw back and play the red into top left. Plenty of choices again for McAllister. He can pot this red off the side rail, come out. And it was so open there with all the yellows just away from the centre of the table that he could really pick and choose 4 pockets, 5 pockets where he wanted to put nearly each ball. And in goes the 8 ball. Jon McAllister restores his 3-frame cushion. 6-3. He leads Shaun Storry.
Race to 14, he's not even hit the halfway point, but Shaun Storry definitely needs to keep in touch.
Well, we will have 4 more frames of this first session. I feel that Shaun Storry needs at least 2 of them, just to stay 3 behind. In his mind, he'd be thinking, if he can win 3-1 in this little mini session here.
Yeah, it feels like you almost have to do that. In these long races, it can probably get way too in your own head. If Shaun's thinking, oh God, 6-3 down, I now need to win 11-5 or whatever it is, and that feels a bit daunting. Whereas actually, break it down.
That's an exquisite break there from McAllister.
He's still well in with a chance, and yes, it absolutely is an exquisite break from Jon McAllister. He's made quite a few balls there, 2 reds and a yellow.
Take your pick. I think yellows will probably be the order of the day for Jon. Easiest starter ball and plenty to choose from afterwards.
Yeah, wasn't great.
supreme control, isn't it?
Yeah, and like I say yesterday, his main problem was actually falling out of position. And it wasn't just like you see a player always falling short or always going too far. It was a mixture. Some were short, he was overrunning and sort of looking a bit bemused out there, sort of scratching his head, where am I going with this? And this is the complete opposite.
Well, he's such a dangerous player, but you can get him early in tournaments. Jon said that himself. He can be a bit of a slow starter, but this is an event where if you get yourself into it, every player here is so in stroke at this point in the tournament. You have to play an awful lot of very good pool and beat some very good players. The standard does just skyrocket,
easy,
really.
isn't it? Look.
Yeah, and those kind of finishes are the ones that every single player now in this last 8 are going to make look routine. They're just going to. You know, maybe towards the back end of the quarterfinals when it gets a bit nitty-gritty and a bit harder and a bit tougher, pressure's on. Maybe that won't be the case. But certainly at this stage in the match, first sessions, finishes like that are just going to go in. And it's a shock if they don't. It's when the layout's a little bit tricky. That's what separates the men from the boys, so to speak.
Shaun Storry to break. 27 frames to 3.
He's gone back to the cut break and got the correct pace on that one. Made a ball as well. So we've had a right mixed bag of breaks from Shaun Storry this evening. I did wonder if he's going to take the yellows, and he's going for the reds, even though there's that nasty red that's at the top of the table that's nearest the 8 ball. But he can play the red that's near the left-hand centre. He can play it up into that corner, and it's a big pocket, and play it into the 8 and just bring that out and open that pocket up. They want to get rid of this red that's next to the yellow into the middle first. But I think he wanted to come a bit further so he could just pop that into the centre, stop the white dead, and then played the shot I just said. Instead, he's negotiated a different route, and he's done quite well. Got his cue ball at the top. So this plants, and it has to be made. So it's not a gimme.
Squeezed it
Oh,
by.
he's gone past it. Well, well, well.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to try that,
No,
but
I
it's
wasn't.
worked.
Played it very well indeed. And that's just opened up this frame completely. He needs to bag this frame, get the next 2. Need a little bit of help from Jon McAllister, as he'll be breaking next.
Very, very good frame of ball from Shaun Storry. All revolved around that red at the top left, and he's navigated it beautifully.
Yeah, nice stuff from Shaun.
Really, really good finish. 11th frame in. So I have 2 more to come in this opening session. Chris Melling and Craig Waddingham, remember, are awaiting in the wings.
So Jon McAllister will be coming to the table now.
Frame 12. Jon McAllister break. Hidden 7 frames to 4.
Will this be another booming break? Is it dry or is that last red going to fall in? Oh, the last ball moving on the table falls in for Jon McAllister. Shaun Storry was half out of his chair.
Extension calls.
Work to be done here, though, for Jon. Ops for the yellows. So there's 2 at the top there. Not a plant, so he needs to find the ball to go into them. Could just play a developing shot and just maybe put Shaun back into bat. I think that's what he's going to do. He's going to say, okay, you have a go. I'm going to leave them on. And your next mistake, I will punish. So a precarious position here for Shaun Storry. Desperately wants this frame. We know Jon McAllister will be leading when they come back for the second session tomorrow. But by how many, we don't. 2 frames left. Shaun Storry doesn't, or certainly doesn't want to lose them both.
Frame that requires some working out. Clever little snooker from Shaun Storry.
Jon thinks he can get past this red at the top and just bump into one over the back. No, he clipped the red first. Ball in hand. And this is a golden chance for Shaun Storry. Tough little opener here. Very close to this red. He's going to try and play it into the right-hand centre, but he's going to have to get the cue right up in the air.
Yeah, this is tough. Really tough. That's a good bit of cueing.
Yeah, it's nice. It was a little danger that you could push through with that, and that would be a foul. Because it's a double hit. And that would have,
especially when you're on the rail as well.
Yeah.
Like, those shots are hard to play
horrible.
when you... Yeah, not nice.
Had to play it.
Yeah, I think so. Played it beautifully in the end. Did 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Yes, he's got that red that's close to the left rail. That will go off the red into the centre. It's where he bumps that second red. So the red, he'll play this off the one over the middle bag. It's where that red ball goes after contact. It's going to go into the yellow. Ideally for Shaun, he wants it to hit the yellow and then go into the knuckle of that middle bag and then come out. But he doesn't want a thin contact where it could push past the yellow and end up on this left-hand side rail. Then that becomes a problem for Shaun.
I wonder if it's in his benefit to pass it direct. Just like that.
Wow, it went straight in.
Yeah, I think contact there was really dangerous for him. So yeah, it made the pocket smaller in the sense that he didn't want to touch the red and had to be really precise. It's a good little shot there. And now his only real problem is just getting in and out of this red, get the cue ball out safely, and yeah, there you go, he's done.
He always had the little buffer there. Yeah. And there you see, perfect angle now to come between the yellow and the black at the bottom of the table. His other red's over the bag.
Worked it out really well. 7-5 looks okay. And if he can find a way for 7-6, well,
Yeah, his break.
very, very even game.
I'll tell you what, if he does finish 7-6 at the end of this session, I mean, unbelievable, because he did lose 5 frames in a row. Probably Jon would look at 7-6 as not being successful from being 7-3 up. In goes the 8 ball. Shaun Storry gets another frame on his side of the scoreboard. 7-5 now. One more frame for this first session.
Yeah, still to come tonight. Remember, Craig Waddingham against Chris Melling, session 1 of their quarter-final. We'll also see the first session of Aaron Davies and Christophe Lambert.
A lot more happier now, Shaun Storry, as you can see on his little face.
He looks delighted, doesn't he?
It was a stone-cold stare a couple
I
of
don't think
frames
it was
ago.
going in the direction of Jon.
No, well, you're not going to see anything different from Jon. Could be 10-0, could be...
Yeah,
could be
7-0 up or down, and I
Yeah,
don't think
exactly.
you can tell a difference.
Yeah. Best way to be. Give nothing away.
So Shaun Storry breaking off to essentially halve the session.
Yeah. He's back at his, well, he was back at his cut break last time.
This is a wide cut break though. He's changed again. Third different break essentially of the night. I think he'll take that. That yellow and red coming together is a problem. Yeah, puff of the cheeks, you can see why. At this stage right here, I'm thinking, oh, this is okay. Ah, no. Bottom of the table, right there, yellow and red. Just collide together. And isn't a particularly easy leave.
He has changed that break around a lot. I think it's the most I've seen anybody change
Wow,
the break.
he's a tinkerer, this Shaun Storry.
More breaks than a very bad stuntman. Nothing particularly easy here. He's going to have to really work for this finish. The key to the puzzle is the red at the bottom right side of the table. Where does he go to break it out? I think it could be now. Pot the red, the loose one, into the bottom left-hand corner. He's just looking at his angle coming off with the cue ball. Wants to go straight into that yellow, and it pushes the red down the rail. He's got a danger of not even knocking that red in. I don't think he wanted it to go in. I think he wanted to stay over the pocket.
Yeah, he will, for sure. Gives him really nice access to the red in between the 2 yellows. Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah, if that dropped in, it's made life a lot more difficult for Shaun, but it has stayed over the bag, so now it's available, and he can use that to get onto that red in the middle of those 2 yellows.
Yeah. Really smooth. Could do it now. I think he may have to go cushion first if he does that. Yeah, he does, but gives me a little bit more angle. I think he was playing on the red by the triangle line, but still got the one below to bottom left. If he doesn't fancy the thinnish cut.
Played that nicely, got a nice angle, can bring the cue ball up towards that last red. That ball very close to that yellow, but certainly available bottom left-hand corner. So this last red and the 8 ball will be a pretty good evening for Shaun Storry, considering how the middle part of this match was going.
Yep. 2-0 up, 5-2 down, 7-3 down, back to 7-6. And when they return tomorrow morning, I would posit to you, Mr. Holgate, it's game on. Never in doubt. This quarter-final is set up quite beautifully for tomorrow. Cannot wait to see the conclusion of Shaun Storry and Jon McAllister. That was a fabulous standard.
You're already underway here in the quarter-final. Find out who Ian Alley will play in the semis. I hope this match is every bit as good as the last one. That really was high quality and entertaining. It's Jon McAllister with the advantage coming in. Only by the odd frame though. Shaun did Shaun Storry things last night. He just hung in where it felt Jon was the one that would look likely to pull away, but Shaun Storry just hung in there, and he's got into this session only the one behind. He needs 8, Jon needs 7.
Extension called.
just left himself a poor angle here. So taking his time just to decide what to do. Just accepted that he was going a fraction further away. Drops it in. Shouldn't be a bother from here. And the opener goes the way of Jon McAllister. This is quarter-final 2. Following this, we will see the defending champion, Chris Melling. He's behind, only by the same scoreline as this one, 7-6 against Craig Waddingham, the silver sniper. And then the last quarter-final is poised at 6-6. Aaron Davies and Christophe Lambert run out of time on the match clock. Couldn't get their final frame in, so they are all square at 6s. This one set up nicely. Shaun Storry going with the cut break. First shot of the morning for him.
Yeah, he had a few disasters last night. He was chopping and changing that break. He sent one, the keeper went bouncing across the arena because he was slamming that cut break. Then he changed around and then he was playing off head ball. Then he started playing a wider cut break, but softer. So there was a lot of experimental stuff going on with Shaun Storry's break last night. But he would have been happy to finish just the odd frame behind, because Jon McAllister, I mean, was in fine form last night. And Shaun managed to reel off the last 3. What's the cue ball doing? He's okay. Nice shot there by Shaun Storry. And he's just got to get this cue ball up the table, and this is no easy shot at all. He's going to try and screw the cue ball just past that right-hand centre pocket, come off that rail, and go behind the black. Now then. Oh, look at that from Shaun Storry. He's nudged it out. He'll take that. He does have a shot. This is a cut in the middle. Oh, and he's got it. What a fabulous finish in the end there from Shaun Storry. Gets back to within one of Jon McAllister, 8-7. We've had a changing of the guard in the commentary box for the time being, as Simon Webb has a couple of bits and bobs to do. And Stephen Jameson has come and taken his place. What a super sub.
Speaking of water, what an hell that was.
Ridiculous to get on that black. Yeah, I know you stood there watching it as well.
That positional shot was something a little bit special from Autopilot. Back in the hunt. This one has really ebbed and flowed. First session was last night. It was a brilliant standard. Shaun ran the first 2. Jon ran the next 5. Played some awesome stuff and looked like he was going to take it away from Shaun. But in typical Shaun Storry fashion, he just does not go away. That man there never ever knows when he's beaten. He will stick with Jon McAllister right until the bitter end if he needs to. Of course, he'd prefer not to have to need to. But he might not get that decision, as Jon McAllister already looks like he's playing some lovely stuff. Another bludgeoning break.
Yeah, loads of power in the McAllister break, as always.
Yellow ball's in play.
Sure, Jon was trying to get on the yellow that's on that right-hand side railing. He's come a little bit too far. Very spread out, these 4 yellows. It's not so much the 2 in the middle. They're very handy. It's the one at the bottom and the one at the top. But this will be handy for Jon because he can squeeze this yellow in the top left-hand corner. Needs to draw that cue ball back past the red. And that has come back unscathed. And now he's on the yellow on the rail. So he's got to pot this one down his cushion, and he's also got to get the cue ball back in to a nice central position. That is a beautiful shot from Jon McAllister. It really, really is.
Good is that.
I mean,
I don't know about you, Tony, but it just feels like this morning we've just upped the ante once again. The standard Friday was brilliant. The standard Saturday, until the very, very end, was that little bit better. The standard this morning has been absolutely awesome from all 4 players.
Yeah, they've all had a good night's sleep and come back refreshed. That's certain. But that was a wonderful shot from Jon McAllister. If you could have picked the white up with your hand, if you had ball in hand, you would have put it exactly where Jon McAllister did from his shot down the rail. And Jon McAllister answers Shaun Storry's previous frame, and in goes the 8-ball. Anything you can do?
Pretty good. I mean, that was sensational, really, wasn't it, from Shaun Storry? But Jon McAllister watched that and thought, okay, well, you do what you need to. I'm going to worry about me. Watch this.
M17. Shaun Storry to break. Frame 9, frame to 7.
So Shaun Storry goes for a wide cut break. Nice split there for Shaun. Gets a red off that break. The ball you'd like to take, really. There would be yellows, and the problem being is the 8-ball's at the top behind 2 reds. Will that sway his mind? He's having a look at the reds, I'm sure, because the awkward red, which is on the left-hand side of the table, will go off that yellow into the left-hand centre. But I think he's going to go for the yellows because they are in a nicer position, and then just opt for trying to manoeuvre himself onto the black. Maybe off that yellow that's near his hand now. Oh, he's missed the first yellow. Wow. Well, you wouldn't be expecting this. Could have been one of those where Shaun's sort of thinking, right, I'll make sure I leave my angle on the next ball, and just completely took his eye off that pot altogether. Yeah, disappointed.
Yeah, and he should be. It's a bad one, especially at this stage in the match where it sort of feels a little in the balance. And also, Jon has just been ahead, hasn't he? Just by a nose. Just ever since frame 5, Jon hasn't looked back. He's always been first to the punch. He's always been closer to the finishing line. And Shaun knows he's better than most at sticking in matches and finding a comeback, but he knows he can't afford to let Jon get too far away.
Last night, I think Shaun produced a minor miracle to only be 1 behind when he left the arena last night, because it was 7-3.
Jon was playing superbly.
And I think
Shaun winning the last 3 frames of the night really was so needed.
I think Jon will have been a bit shell-shocked last night, thinking, hang on a minute, I've just played really well then, I'm only 1 in front. And this is with Shaun Storry breaking and sending the cue ball into orbit and all sorts of things that were going on with his break last night. But we all know how good Jon McAllister is at managing the mind and not worrying about his opponent at all. Just manages his game and his patterns. Looking very cool out there, Jon McAllister. It's all about getting the correct position on this last yellow, which will then unlock the door to potting that 8-ball and getting himself 3 frames ahead of Shaun Storry. And you see Johnny just tried to play off the red there and just get the red right out the way of that 8. Now, as you can see, he's not achieved that, and he was just having a little look to see if he could squeeze it off the red that's on the rail. I don't think he can. I really don't. This is tough.
It's a horrible 8-ball if he's got to do that. He has got a turn of angle here.
Well, he feels he can, because he's played for it.
This is a big, big shot in the context of this match.
I don't know why I'm bending down like Jon now, trying to look at it, because I certainly can't see the angle. That's ridiculous. But
oh, it slid in.
Wow.
It went all the way in. What were you worried about, says Jon McAllister.
Unreal.
But that is all then about how well he's got on that 8-ball. You have to praise the positional shot, because it was 10 out of 10, A1. It's what Jon probably hangs his hat on the most as an elite pool player, and he should, is his cue ball. And that was so good. To land absolutely ball in hand perfect on that 8-ball. If he's not bang in line with it, that shot becomes 10 times harder. That is a brilliant shot from Jon McAllister. Look at that. Pin perfect. And he did the right thing. He fooled us all. He lined it up once, he lined it up twice, he lined it up 3 times a lady. And eventually just roll it in. Fantastic finish. He's 3 clear again.
Incredible stuff.
Second time in the match he's built up this lead of 3 frames. First time he did it, he built it up to 4. He'd love to do that again. Didn't quite get a hold of that break. And he's going to get kicked in off. He'll feel a little bit aggrieved by that, Jon. But if he's honest with himself, that cue ball is not where he wanted it to be. And yes, you can say he's unluckily kicked in off. I'm not going to disagree with you on that front.
Only 4 balls that did it to him.
Yeah, but he knows that wasn't where he wanted to put that break. Again, I'm not saying he deserved that, but here we are. Shaun at the table.
Much needed winning visit for Shaun Storry here. 3 adrift. The last one was avoidable. He did miss that opening yellow. Pulled back a bit too far there. He's okay, he can make the pot, but it's just made this finish a couple of levels higher on the difficulty scale. Played that very well, did Shaun. Nice pot. Use that red as a buffer. And he has a nice little angle here on the ball at the bottom of the table. He'd be happy enough just to get the cue ball back where it is. Put that yellow into the centre. Wouldn't have to do much with the cue ball because he would naturally get onto the 8. And that is pretty much perfect. So, Shaun digging very deep indeed. Hanging on in against Jon McAllister. And this is going to be 10-8.
Not going quietly.
Yeah, this Masters tournament is building very nicely. And a pretty dramatic opener this morning. Ian Ali, Phil Harrison. Harrison coming out of the blocks incredibly quick in a flurry of breaking and finishing. Started the morning off 3 adrift of Ian Ali. dragging him back. Got all the way back. Even got his nose in front, and then Ali suddenly produced the whip and pulled away at the end, and he did finish the 3 in front. He started the morning off with Ian Ali winning 14-11, and now we have this unfolding before our very eyes. McAllister started 7-6 up this morning, so he has increased his lead. But Shaun Storry, we all know, is a real fighter.
Might be the scrappiest player in all of Ultimate Pool.
And disappointment for Shaun as he breaks dry. And you can just see it in his eyes there. Jon McAllister having a little gander at that cluster at the bottom of the table there, I think. Seeing if that red goes past the yellow, I think. He's going to choose reds.
That's a great shot.
Well, I'm not so sure.
I think that red goes by the 8 ball now. I think that was his plan.
I think it's his next ball that's a problem, though, 𝗡𝗃𝗻. Would you play the double with that red he's nearest to into the yellow and red that are together in that middle? Or could he play off this ball and kick into it? Because I think that's a straight plant. Gone for safety.
Yeah, there's a potential that he was never thinking finish in one visit. He's come to the table. Reds are better. Yeah, and he's turned the table over with Shaun with nothing to go at.
It's that red at the bottom that's stuck to the yellow. I think Shaun's just had a look at it. Probably he's thinking in his mind, if I play a bad shot anyway, am I leaving Jon a tap-in finish with that red, or is it actually needs to be moved? So in the back of his mind, it's like he's got a little bit of a safety net.
There's work on both colour sets. This is a really interesting frame. Shaun may go. I don't think Jon will be unhappy to see that.
You see, Shaun's in that little predicament where you're a couple of frames behind. You need to get this one on the board. You don't particularly want to go because they're not ideal. But in the back of your mind, you're thinking, but if I don't go, that fella sat over there in the corner is going to get up and dish me up. Yeah. So it kind of forces your hand.
Yeah, Jon's leading the dance in that sense. He's good on this yellow. Oh, just almost missed that. Can't really play around with those near jaws. Any further to the right and that'd have stayed up. Big shot coming, I feel. Is he on it? He's almost perfect, but no. I don't think he's on the yellow he wants it to be. I really like the idea there, but he just wants that cue ball, as we look at it from the main camera, to just tracked an inch to the left, almost like rolled over the top of the yellow, rather than stick on the near side. He's in bother here.
Well, the only shot he's got now is sort of just got to well, I was going to say he's going to run off that yellow, but he...
Oh, wow. What have we just seen?
But is it any good to him? This is the thing.
That's an extraordinary shot. I mean, it would be a very short story way to get out from here if he makes that one and comes up with a clearance. That yellow at the top of the table is an enormous problem. I don't know how you deal with it, but he can deal with these two.
No.
Great shot. Oh, he's missed it by a hair. That was such a good effort. And you can really say that he deserved more. He's come round to look if that one goes at the bottom. Is he clipping this? He is. Not to be. I mean, that was about a harder shot as you could possibly want to play, to be honest. That thin snick and try and pump that yellow out. You could be there a long time and not get that.
Yeah, for a fleeting second now, I was starting to wrap my brains with, have I ever seen a more ridiculous finish in my
it'd have been extraordinary.
my entire career if he was to clip that in, go round and hit the yellow and the red and break them apart.
He's a little unlucky, but it goes back to exactly what we were saying, what you were saying more particularly a moment ago, where Shaun feels like he's forced into going, and he's not got them. But it's worth pointing out, he's played some incredible shots that just haven't quite gone his way. He was close.
Well, the opener was a bit of a fluke, though.
Well, yeah, admittedly, he did get a touch of luck too, but he did get 2 bits of bad run. Loss of turn coming up, I think, here for Shaun.
Yeah, once 𝗧𝗪𝗃𝗃 was stuck to the yellow.
Yeah, good shot. Excellent shot. Jon may be forced to pot that
He is.
red.
But then
He's
quite happy with the
not
black.
going
It's very
to.
close to that red, and if you're going to try and pot them both in the same shot, I think it's very, very difficult. Oh, hello.
What a ridiculous shot.
How do you like that?
Well, does he play into the 8-ball in red, or is he confident that he can get access to that red independently? He's got a thin snick here to right centre. Has he got an angle to just bump into the black, pot the red, and win the frame? I think he might. I think he might. Oh, wow, then. Okay. Gets the 8-ball, doesn't get the red. I'm not sure Jon can win the frame from here. Can he get a cue ball?
It's incredible, isn't it?
Shaking the head from Jon. I don't think you can believe he's hit the 8-ball and not knocked the red in.
I think you can get up there if he gets right up just above that.
Is he kicking this?
No, I think you can get on it. I think you can just pinch the thin edge of this red.
Wow.
There you see, he can. Well, we're going to need some eagle eyes over there to have a little look at this. Well, he played the red first, that's for certain, but it's hung.
Not to be. He's still not in a terrible position. This is still an awkward clearance for Shaun. Oh, don't like this.
Safety only here.
Yeah.
So he plays off this very thin touch of right-hand side to get that cue ball over to that left-hand rail.
Even then,
Jon's going to come very close. And the thing is, if Jon does hit the red, he pots it, and he's also going to be right behind that 8-ball. But there's nothing else that Shaun can do.
He's tried to block the one cushion with the yellow. He's not quite got far enough. Sort of see his thinking there.
He's nearly come too far there and left the thin edge of that red. I don't think he has. But it's a one cushion escape.
I think Jon will play us quite slowly, just as you say. Just make sure of the pot. Can't really miss that red. Give himself a chance.
Well, will he play the safety of the little snooker? I think he will. Just roll into this 8-ball, cue ball off the side rail and behind it. Also just brings it away from the cushion a little bit now. So as you know, as it stands here, Shaun Storry has to pot this yellow.
It just goes to show, Tony, that when you're watching two brilliant quality players, it's not all about dishes this game.
No.
This has been such a fascinating frame to watch. Two world-class players trying to figure out the finish.
Needs this to go, Shaun Storry. How close is he? He's
Far.
No, and he had to attempt to play it thin to pot it. I know he's given ball in hand to Jon, but it was no good just hitting it full in the face.
Yeah, he had to pot it. He knew he was losing the frame if he didn't pot it. Tough one to judge. It was a nice snooker from Jon because he knows what Shaun wants to do, and he's made sure that there was no natural line to do it. So it's about judging the side and judging the line, and it's tough. But that was an excellent frame of pool. Thoroughly enjoyed that. 11-8 the lead for Jon McAllister. He restores that 3-frame cushion.
I think we are just waiting for the imminent return of Jon McAllister. He just nipped out for a quick comfort break, and he has returned.
Jon McAllister's way. In 11 frames to 8.
And it will be Jon McAllister to break off here in frame 20.
Deserved ball there. It was a brilliant break.
It's very consistent, his break, isn't it? And it's that same very powerful but controlled strike into the pack. I think they should make a rule that if you're a really good potter and position player, that you should have a really bad break.
Even the play.
It's not fair. I mean, having that break and being able to play like he does as well.
Yeah, he's such an incredibly well-rounded player, is Jon. It's a well-judged shot. Trying to scan up the table for problems, really. I think the only yellow that's going to cause him any sort of consternation is the one midway up the left side cushion. But he can get on it nicely. He'll back himself to make it.
Yeah, you feel with Jon McAllister, who takes these out now, the curtains are slowly closing for Shaun Storry on this Masters attempt.
Shot.
Yep, very nice.
Couldn't really be better on this yellow at the rail.
Nicely played once again by McAllister. Looking now to see where he wants to leave himself. He wants to be above that yellow that's going to be played after the one over the bag into the centre pocket. So he wants to be slightly left of it. There you see, he has that tad of an angle just to come down the table. He could choose to play this with topspin and come through the gap of all those reds. Harder shot. If he had a bit more angle, I think he'd punch across the table, go over to the right-hand rail where there's no danger of snooking yourself over there. And I think he has just changed his mind and he's going to play that shot. Yep, don't blame him. Initially, he queued up to play it with topspin and come down, and he thought, hang on a minute. If I go this way, there's no chance I can snooker myself, and he's always going to get a shot at this 8-ball. So this, to put himself 2 away, in it goes, and McAllister, brilliant. Fantastic once again. Queuing like a dream.
Yeah, he looks so dangerous, doesn't he? And it's amazing this is the same player that in round 1 we watched him make 5 or 6 terrible errors on this very table. But it just goes to show some players do just need that sort of warming up period. Jon is cold-blooded in a pool sense. He needs to bask in the sun for a few hours. And then once he does that, just watch him go. Cold-blooded in more than one sense of the word as well, because he's a stone-cold killer in the latter stages of tournaments.
Yeah, he said it himself that he just starts slowly. But boy, does he pick up the pace when he gets going.
Yeah, I mean, Jon at this level can beat anybody in the world playing their best game.
Well, I said last night, and I think I was obviously either with you or Simon, and when asked, I think it was Simon actually, and said, who do I make the favourite? And it was during the Wadding and Melling match, and I said, Jon McAllister.
I'm not going to stand here and disagree with you.
Just level doesn't drop. When he gets to these sort of stages of the tournament,
relentless.
Deep, it just level doesn't drop. He's like an immovable object.
He's got so much pressure on his opponents as well. The only thing you can hope for is dry breaks. But even then, you've got to play perfect to keep him off the table.
Just a bit off the jaw there, but it still went in for Shaun. Got to really, well, I was going to say dig deep, but he needs Jon to help him now. He's effectively got to win now 6-1 from here to progress against anybody. That's a tall order. Against one of the best in the business, well, like I say, you're going to need Jon McAllister's break to collapse, which shows no sign of relenting. Nice shot there from Storry, though, but he will fight. There's no doubt about that. Shaun Storry will never believe he's beat until the final 8-ball drops in its pocket. Another nice shot there, bumping that yellow out the way. And Autopilot has now had to take the controls himself. Lots of check side coming here. He needs to straighten that cue ball up coming off that bottom rail. Can't come around the angles because of the 2 yellows. Still very tricky. It's just the wrong side of that red. If he had about 2 balls widths to the left, he was perfect. Nicely done there. Nice imagination. He did play for that because he knew he could hit that angle, and he's now got a pretty thin cut with this red into the top right. And this has been very tricky indeed.
This is...
You know, considering you fall behind, one mistake and you know McAllister will probably get himself onto the hill. So this is a huge shot. Got it. Where's the cue ball going? It's not going with it. Oh, it is. That
wow.
Always a danger. He had to steer that cue ball away from the yellow and the black, and he concentrated everything on the pots. But the cue ball decided to go with the red into the same pocket, shaking the head from Shaun. And that's tough. That's tough on Shaun.
It is. It just feels like how this second session has gone. He's had to work really hard. He's done a lot of really good stuff, but he couldn't quite just get that little 1% that he needed. The 2 frames he's come close in that he's chased, they're the difference. Because if he gets both of those, this is a 1-frame game. Jon McAllister here can climb the hill, and it's a long way back.
Yeah, didn't like position on that one in the middle. He wanted to be a bit straighter so he can get closer to those 2 yellows that are next to the cushion. So deciding to get rid of the one over the back because it doesn't really matter. And now he's got the position he wants onto this yellow into the centre. Gets nice and close to those 2 because the black's obviously dead over that corner bag. That's not a problem anywhere on the table for Jon. So it will be the one closest to the rail next. The harder of the 2. Well, he thought he got the cue ball out a bit further than that. It's a little bit underplayed there by Jon. So an extra bit of pressure on this one. And he's hung it.
Oh, now then.
Well, well, well. I just wondered because when he potted the yellow before, he did have a little look up to the sky and he wasn't happy about being where he was on that yellow. So Shaun Storry, a mini lifeline. 12-9. 3 behind now, Shaun.
Now, that could be a huge moment for that man right there.
And this is why you never give in. Never give in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Shaun's probably sat there now thinking, go on, Jon, a couple more of those, please. They're quite rare, those sorts of misses from Jon McAllister. I think that's the first ball he's actually missed in this entire match. If I'm,
You might be right, yeah. It's the first one he missed in this session. I don't think he missed in the first.
No, I mean, so there we are. We've seen a unicorn today. So it is Jon McAllister though to break off. Still 2 away. You thought he was going to be on the hill, and he's not. Plenty of power once again. He's breaking that yellow, drops in. Sort of puts his hand up there to apologise, but I mean, I don't think you need to apologise. You break off and you're trying to make a ball. I mean, if the rules were you had to break and you had to nominate which ball you were going to put off that break, then that's a different kettle of fish, but it's not that case. And of course, Jon now with the balls very open indeed. But just look where that red is on that right-hand rail. He's going to have to revisit that location of the missed yellow in this frame. Will he go down to it after this red in the middle? And will he go there and say, I remember you? As he stares at that pocket and he is right behind it. The scene of the crime revisited. I don't envisage him missing another one down here, and this is a lot easier because he's not playing away from this one, he's playing into it. No mistake. And now 3 tap-ins with the reds and an easy 8-ball, and Jon McAllister will climb on to the top of the hill. One away he'll be from joining 𝗍𝗓𝗍 in the semi-final.
Yeah, what a semi that'll be as well. Ian may have to play perfect if it is to beat Jon McAllister, because the level he's playing at, there is just no room for error. One away.
Little smile there for Jon. Quite comfortable now. Yep, let's just have a relax. Will be Shaun Storry breaking off, needing every remaining frame. 5 in a row he's going to be required to get.
Shaun's got a reputation for comebacks though. He won't give up, we know that. He will stick in it. He almost was the victim of one of the all-time great comebacks yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Was 12-6 up against 𝗪𝗏𝗏, the ultimate pool challenger player. Murad pulled it all the way back to 12-all, which would have been a horrendous defeat for Shaun to take. But he pulled over the line. I'm sure there was a lot of mutual respect out there, because Shaun's done that sort of thing to quite a few people. Big break, needs a ball, gets a ball, needs a chance, gets a chance. Those reds look pretty good. There's one bit of work to do at the top of the table. Rest are all sitting pretty. You can make the same sort of case for yellows really, but flip it around. The yellow at the bottom's difficult. I think it will be reds.
I agree, JMO. Reds are the... You can actually try and get into it now, but...
Oh, he's missed it.
Oh!
Oh, Shaun. He's just tried to get a little cute. If you see where he's left the cue ball, I'm almost certain he's tried to leave the red in the right centre to bump that red out. And he's just tried to hold it on that line, and in doing so, in cheating the pocket, he's just overstretched.
He's left the angle as well for Jon to bump it out, and he has bumped it out.
You couldn't make it out.
Oh, look where the yellow's gone though. But the red will still go into that top right.
Yeah, I think the red still goes. Jon's there.
You've seen if he can get it into the bottom left.
Well, that would be heartbreaking, wouldn't it?
No, he's going down to play it. He's gone for the plant.
Brilliant shot.
Naughty Jon. Very naughty. I think he's a little bit disappointed. He wanted to be able to have the cue ball a bit further down and be able to get into the reds at the bottom of the table, and I think he's going to have to go upstairs first. He doesn't really want to. This red was meant to be the one that gets him on the black. He's had to remove it. Where's he going to land here? Well, all of a sudden this has become very tricky. Looking at that gap there, I think he's thinking about playing the red that's very central and trying to hit the yellow and the red at the bottom of the table. Almost make contact at the same time and try and push the other red in the corner. Like that. Great shot. But what does he have next? Had a little glance to see if that red goes past the 8-ball into the top left. I don't believe it does, as he sort of looked at it very quickly, dismissed it. Or it goes clean.
Oh, not that clean, it doesn't. It's an element of percentages.
Not sure he attempted it, you know.
Yeah, he's so far off. I think he's just gone to, again, John doesn't care if he wins it 1 visit or 2 visits.
No, well, there's nothing else. There was, you know, a very thin cross double back with that other red that's on the left, but you got a cue ball that's bouncing around the table, and that's not John at all. He wants to be in total control of where that white ball's going. So he's pulled back the reins, thought, okay, then what can I do? I can try and make the 8-ball as difficult as possible for Shaun Storry by putting a goalkeeper there, which is that red. However, I believe that black might go off the cushion and off the red and in there. So could this be one back for Shaun?
Has he got an angle? John played the percentages. He laid it all out for Shaun Storry and said, I bet that you can't.
Well, he's going to have a go. He's going to try and play the 8-ball off the cushion and into the red and try and squeeze it into that corner pocket. Very gently it will be. Right behind it. And that is absolutely perfect if you want to play it, because you're now looking straight at the line of where you want the 8-ball to make contact with the cushion. So you're not having to look away from it. You're looking right at it, because this needs to be pinpoint. And there you see Shaun just pointing with his finger where he wants to go with this 8-ball. Fancy him to get it, just purely because his position is very nice onto it. So here we go. Very nicely done, Shaun Storry. And Jon McAllister's defender red that he put up there didn't do its job. Shaun Storry still alive.
It's difficult to argue with John's choice, because I think it probably
No, he had to play that.
It probably is the percentage
Yeah.
play.
Absolutely no other shot to play.
But
because the only other shot is that silly double with the cue ball flying around the table, and it's just not Jon McAllister's way in how he plays.
I don't think there'll be any regrets, but it's the sort of shot that you can play when you're 13-9 up and you're just hanging out there and say, well, I know if you make a mistake, I win the match. Shaun didn't make a mistake. He took out a great finish, hangs in, needs the next 4.
Yeah, and like I said before, he needs Jon McAllister's break to desert him. And it has shown no signs of letting up today. Another booming break, balls going in all over the place as well. This looks, I was about to say a great split, but just look where the cue ball's finished. It's stuck to that red. And you can tell by John's expression there what he thinks of that. I mean, if he had any clean potted, this is over. I mean, might be able to thin cut that yellow in at the bottom of the table, but it's going to be, cue ball's going to be travelling about the place, and but I don't think he has any. There's no other choice. He can't play safe anywhere, so he has to have a dip. Brilliant pot. How's it all come up for him? yellow gone behind the red over by the centre, so no drop-in finish for Jon. And that will have to be moved. He can't even be doubled from where that is. And he's got the wrong side of this yellow that's next to the black as well, so this will be played at some pace.
Good shot here required, that's for sure. Rips it. He's got a pretty big target to play with because he doesn't need to move that yellow much, and he can play off the red as well. He can play cushion first, he can play full ball. There's quite a big area to hit.
Yeah, that's very true. He doesn't even need to move the yellow. He needs to move the red out the way of the yellow, really, but he's given himself half a chance with that lovely controlled shot. And this is where the magic needs to be done on this shot. He's moved the red out of the way. He's on the other yellow. So all he has to do here is make the pot into the other middle. And he's just looking, where's the cue ball going to go? He's thinking, can I hit that red thick? Which would be perfect if the red on the left-hand side, if he could land the cue ball there, bump that out of the way. Yeah. He's got a little thin cut and he can just track onto the black ball.
Yeah, you can see there's a gap between the rail and the yellow, so it does drop in. It's thin, but it does drop in.
He's come around the back of it and this is fine.
It's an excellent shot. This is it. This is for the marbles for Jon McAllister.
And it's
a semi-final for Jon McAllister.
It's a really, really good finish as well, if he gets it. Beautiful. He's on the black.
What a Pro Series title. A little more than a month ago. Jon McAllister is on the trophy hunt again. Semi-final for Jon. Quarter-final exit for Shaun Storry, who more than played his part in this tournament. What a fabulous match between two great players. But Jon McAllister marches on, where he'll meet Ian Alley in the semi-final. And you are going to want to watch that one later, let me tell you.